Hi everyone, this is Angie. Welcome to my channel, Angie Part 2. I appreciate you clicking on my video. So today's video is going to be about Janet Jackson's comments about Kamala Harris' race and how rich her comments are coming from her, since she has a mixed race kid and nieces and nephews that are mixed race. Yeah, good conversation. Let's get started. So Janet Jackson recently gave an interview to The Guardian, which is a global internet magazine that's located or originated in the UK or Britain. And in the article, they talked about numerous things about her life, her father, etc. But also one of the things that they discussed was Kamala Harris' race. Now, The View mentioned it today about Janet Jackson's statement in the article, also the non-apology. So let's take a quick look at that, and then I'll give my commentary on the other side.
Superstar Janet Jackson just did a wide-ranging interview with British newspaper The Guardian, but most of the focus is on when she was asked her thoughts on VP Kamala Harris possibly become the first black female president. She said, she answered by saying that she had heard that Harris's father was white, which we all know is false. And a staffer claims that he was fired for issuing an apology in her name and that her team certified he wasn't authorized to speak on her behalf. Now, Jackson has not responded to requests for comment, but no matter how you feel about celebs speaking out politically, you know, is it okay for somebody to say, I don't know.
Guardian article is written by Nosheen Iqbal, last name spelled I-Q-B-A-L, B like boy, A-L. And so Nosheen basically discussed with Janet Jackson about how she had this song called Rhythm Nation, and she was singing about, joining voices and protests to social injustice and also pushing toward a world rid of color lines. So Nosheen wondered where Janet Jackson stands on the forthcoming election in America, considering that we could possibly be voting in a first black female president, which is Kamala Harris. And so Janet Jackson responded saying, well, you know what they supposedly said. She asked the journalist, she's not black. That's what I heard, that she's Indian. Now, this is Janet Jackson talking to the journalist, Nosheen, telling her this. And then she looks at her expectantly, like, assuming that Nosheen is of Indian heritage from what she looks like. And so Nosheen tells her, well, she's both. And Janet Jackson was like, well, her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. Give or take, her brother Tito had just died, so it's understandable. But she said she was told that they discovered her father was white. All right, Janet. You got Google on your phone. Google is free. You could easily, even if someone told you or if you saw it on Facebook or Twitter, I even have to go and just double check or click on the article to see where the article is coming from and kind of read for it, because people just put tons of stuff on the internet. So you don't know what is true, what is not true, etc. But even then, and on The View, which I'm going to play the clip, Whoopi Goldberg goes into how we need to give people grace, which we do. We do need to give people grace, especially right now. She is, going through whatever because her brother just died. But if you're going through whatever, then don't do the interview. Postpone it for another time. But anyway, let's look into this last clip of The View, and then I'm going to finish my commentary on the other side.
Yeah, she's got a phone. Janet Jackson is not a political animal.
Yeah.
She does. She's a musician. Her life is doing this, and she's mourning her brother. So
that's right.
I am. You know, I sometimes have said stuff, and you know, I was wrong. But people want you to say something right away, you know. But when people are coming at you, saying, "Hey, you're not paying, you're dumb, you don't know," you know, you don't want to answer people, especially if
and you're afraid you'll get it wrong in answer.
And it is a pain in the butt, I have to tell you. So sometimes people get it wrong, and they're wrong. They made a mistake. They were wrong. It happens. Anybody who says it doesn't happen to every one of us, multiracial or not, we all do it. So, okay, a little grace for the girl. A little grace for the girl, okay? But...
Right. First of all, Whoopi, Janet Jackson is not some silly little girl. You keep calling her a girl. She's not a girl. She's a grown-ass woman. I think both of y'all probably the same age or even close. I think Whoopi's in her 60s, so maybe, and Janet is probably in her mid-50s, probably close to, yeah, I think she's in her late 50s. Either way, she's too damn old not to be able to understand how to Google and search something and stop providing misinformation. Even if she's cut the, even if she thought, isn't she white? And the journalist said, no, she's not. She's both. She's black and Indian. She could have did a quick Google search, like, let me double check that, you know? And just not going off what she heard. Because what we heard was we heard a lot of stuff about you, Janet, okay? But let's talk about what we do know. Kamala Harris' father is Jamaican. Her mother is Indian. She's biracial, but since she was a young girl, even her mother from Kamala Harris' own book called her and her sister black girls. Janet Jackson is black, okay? Her husband, or ex-husband, I think his name was Wissam or something like that, is Middle Eastern, or I don't know if he's Arabian or Egyptian, but he's a billionaire from somewhere in the Middle East. And I think they met or whatever in the UK. At least they used to live together in the UK. And they had a little boy, Isan, beautiful name. I think that's how it's pronounced. Don't quote me on it. So what would be her husband and her ex-husband and her son's race? Will it be black? Would it be biracial? Or would you say her father is white? No. Martin Luther King. Michael Jackson has kids that looks nothing like them. Nothing. Tito, Jermaine, all of her brothers have children that are of mixed race. What do you call them, Janet? Like, at some point, I think what annoys people so much is that this day and age, it's not that hard to clear up some information that you don't know. Second of all, it's just so crazy how people of her stature just walk around and just freely like, oh no, like this is an interview. This wasn't a gossip session with your girlfriend. It's like, oh, I heard her daddy was white. No, this was an actual interview with not a national, but a global magazine, internet magazine. And you over here talking like you having tea with your girlfriends. No. Know what you're talking about. And another thing that pisses me off is that people who want to know stuff, like say you want to look up a recipe, you could easily go online and Google, I don't know, spaghetti recipe, lasagna recipe, fettuccine alfredo recipe. If you don't know how to make it or whatever, you could also go on YouTube and research how to do it, how long to cook it, how long, what it should look like afterwards, etc. Or you could go on Amazon or Borders or whatever and buy a book of Greek foods or Italian foods or soul foods or whatever your heart desire. The same thing in the music industry. If she wants to if she writes a song, or she wants to know, or if there's a beat or a hook that she wants to use, she has to research to make sure it hasn't been used before. If it has, who has it, and get rights to it. It's the same thing. And it just amazes me, not just with celebrities, but in people in our daily lives. When it comes to our politicians, we're just like, oh, he could be a criminal. Trump couldn't get a job at McDonald's because he's a felon. Or he could be a, sexual harasser or whatever, be convicted allegedly of sexual assault. You couldn't get a job at a daycare. So why is this person able to run a country, but he can't get a job at a daycare? And why do you think that is okay? I think Americans and just people in general need to take a step back and think about why, you don't do the research for the people that's going to have so much effect on your lives. These politicians go to Washington, they go to the state capitals, they go to the city halls, they go to the superintendent office or whatever, and they make decisions on your life, on your community's life, on your children's life. And not to do the research is annoying. Now, I saw something on Twitter that says she probably doesn't care because she doesn't live in the United States anymore, which I understand. I heard that, I don't know if this is true. So allegedly she lives in London because her and her ex-husband has, and it may be in the article, I'm not for sure. I didn't read the whole thing. So, but my understanding that she lives in the UK because her and her ex-husband has joint custody. And so for them to, part of the agreement was that he'll be raised in the UK. From my understanding, don't quote me on it. But anyway, but that's my attitude towards this whole whatever statement that Janet Jackson has made. It's just like, do your research, people, and don't just do research on the simple things. And maybe it's because people find it hard and annoying or boring, but when these people are going to affect your life, do the damn research. Stop going out there talking. This is not some, politicians. This is not just some gossip blog. This is your life. Anyway, but I'm going to end this video. But please, of course, leave your comments, like and subscribe, and give grace to Janet Jackson, of course, because her brother passed away. Rest in peace to him. But give space as well to people who don't know no better. But let's do our job to teach. Let's do our job to not spread idiotic rumors and misinformation about people, especially something that's so easily, like, we could just go on Wikipedia and see what who her father and mother is and what race they are. Let's do better. Anyway, see you in the next video.